Thank you, Sheriff. Now we'll call on District 11 for invocation and our pledge.
Shall we bow our heads? Our Heavenly Father, as we come before you and bow, that when we make our decisions tonight, that they will be pleasing to you and not to man. Thank you for your Son that died on the cross for us. Watch and protect all of our leaders. Watch over our soldiers and their families. Forgive us of our sins, for we ask it on Christ's sake. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Yes.
I ain't heard anything about Jim Martin. Larry and Reggie,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, let's begin. Take your handsets, press yes for me, and stop right there, please. Press yes and stop right there. All right, I know Mr. Shanks is not here. We see Mr. Martin's not coming then. And Jordan, will you hand me Mr. Bennett's, please? Thank you, sir. All right. I got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, would you press confirm for me, please? Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, when the vote is taken, you have 21 present, 3 absent. There is a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. All right, item number 5, approval of the agenda. A motion is second. Any discussion on the agenda? In favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 6, approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion approved.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? In favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, Commissioners, unfinished business, standing committees, planning committee,
Unfinished business.
physical review,
No unfinished business.
and nominating.
No unfinished business.
Any other special committees with a report on unfinished business? Any other unfinished business? Leave alone item 8, new business, report of standing committees, planning,
No business.
physical review,
We have one item, fiscal review recommends approval of budget amendment to the county general fund, and I so move.
Second.
got a motion and a second, amendment to county general, any discussion? All right, Mr. Clerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you take your handsets, you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote and stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? All right, now please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, press confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 21 voting yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent when the roll was taken. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Nominating committee.
No action.
All right, move along. Item B under new business is report of special committees. We recognize the Budget Committee and Chair, Mr. Tony Honeycutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank, being the chairman, I'd like to thank the Budget Committee, Tom Short, Benton Young, Mike Medley, Bobby Williams, Jerry Ford, Danny Holmes, Larry Redwine, and Larry Bennett. And let me make a couple comments and we'll get right into this. You had, maybe 6 of us that had never served on the Budget Committee before, especially me, being the chairman, never had been on it. And commissioners and audience, I am proud to announce that the Budget Committee has approved us a budget with no tax increase for 2017, 2018. And one other office I need to recognize is Randy Porter's and his staff for helping us. So let's get right on into our budget. First
Tony?
item on the budget. Budget Committee recommends an approval of the county general budget as presented and set to the tax rate at 84 1/2 cents for the county general fund, which is the same as last year. I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Recognize, Commissioner Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we vote on this budget, I would like for our Fire Chief, Tom Brown, to come forward. I don't feel like that we did him right in budget, and I will have an amendment to that motion.
I want to thank you all for letting me speak tonight. I was asked by some commissioners to speak, give you some hard facts. I understand it's a difficult task to determine what spending is necessary while still keeping taxes low. As a taxpayer myself, I appreciate what you're doing. But I do want to present to you what I believe is a crucial need for the fire department and the citizens of Putnam County. I have requested 3 additional personnel, full-time personnel, because I don't believe our county is adequately protected. The additional personnel would be put at Station 21, which is the Monterey Station. This station covers the entire east end of the county, along with volunteers from Station 23 at Cumberland Cove and Station 24 on Buck Mountain. Both of these stations rely solely on volunteers. There is currently a live-in firefighter at Station 21. This man works a full-time job at the Cookeville Fire Department, so he is not always there, along with a part-time man, 9 to 5, 7 days a week. Response times in the east end of the county average 12.5 minutes and can be as long as 25 minutes when this station is not manned. With full-time personnel in the station, an apparatus will respond within 90 seconds, which will greatly reduce response times. With paid personnel being supplemented by volunteers and backup from a station in Cookeville. This area is currently our problem child with volunteers. Don't have a lot of volunteers in that area. I take my responsibility for the safety of the citizens of Putnam County and the safety of our firefighters very seriously. When a resident of the county suffers a loss, of property, or more tragically, injury or loss of life, the personnel in my department and myself take that very personally. Safety of our citizens is not only my responsibility, it's yours also. For that reason, I've requested $79,500 for 3 full-time firefighters. Also requested $22,818 in an adjustment to part-time to cover vacation, sick, and Kelly days for these 3 personnel. Without the adjustment, the part-time man working at Station 21 will be lost, and the intent with that man was to move him to another station during the daytime hours to make an impact there. While no 2 fires are alike, I have a case study example for having a man in the station. Last Thursday night at 9:32 p.m., we responded to a structure fire on Jackson Passage Road. There was a live-in firefighter in Station 31 that night. There was water being applied to the fire in 6 minutes after 911 received the call. Changing the outcome from a working residential fire to a room and contents fire, a man in the station makes a huge difference. Total cost at our current part-time pay rate, which is $1087 for the 3 firefighters and the part-time adjustment, is $102,318. Also requested in this budget that was cut was a raise for those individuals to $12 an hour. That total cost would be $104,690. I'm a firm believer that if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. There is no status quo in emergency services. We can't just ride along until next year. Again, I want to thank you for allowing me to speak. I fully understand you have a job to do and will accept any decision you make. and work within the means. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Holmes?
I appreciate that, Chief. I'd like to make a motion to amend the budget to give him 3 new personnel.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
How much money is that?
I'm sorry?
How much money is that? Yes.
That's a question.
He
If
said
you will, let's,
$79,000.
if we can, please forgive me just a minute. Please forgive me just a minute. Mr. Clerk, if you would you clear the board and let's start this discussion brand new, and then those that are on the board, I'll recognize you on your amendments after we get through with this. Right now, I'd like to see who wants to speak toward the amendment. This is all about the amendment. Any questions? All right. Mr. Savage, you asked a question, so I'm gonna recognize you first, so if you will, for the record, state your question.
First, how much additional money are we talking about? Total, of what Commissioner Holmes is asking for?
I'm not sure whether that's a Mr. Porter question, probably, nothing against you, Chief, I'm sure you know, but I think the question involves benefits as well, Mr. Porter.
I think you'd be looking at about $126,000 once you add the benefits, the part-time money that it asked for, and the full-time fireman.
So does that mean his amendment was including the part-time, so he said 3 new people? Was that 4 new people, 3 in part-time?
His motion, as I understand it, Mr. Holmes, and correct me if I'm not, was 3 new full-time people.
That is correct.
That's the motion, 3 new full-time people.
Okay.
Answer your question, Mr. Savage?
Yeah.
Mr. Wiseman?
I had one more.
Okay.
I'm sorry. While we're on this, have we looked at the option of following a little more closely to what CTAS recommended when the implementation of the fire department was passed? And that is not being so centrally located and having to work out, because our problem areas are out coming in and moving people out and bringing them in. And then because now we're located inside the city limits of Cookeville, we have to leave the city. So with that, previous chief didn't look at that, didn't think it was a good option, but I'm asking for it because that might save, without the additional need of people, it could supply the needs of the community better.
In the 5-year plan, there is a total of 9, counting these 3, and that would put us in the peripheral, not piled up in the middle of Cookeville.
That's not really what I'm asking, though. It's in reference to when the CTAS recommended, when we implemented this to a modified fire department, that we first start working outside in, and we work inside out. Have you looked at possibly changing that and going to outside in?
I don't have personnel to blend that coverage in at this time.
Okay.
Again, in the 5-year plan, that would put a man at the Bloomington station, the Monterey station, the Burgess Falls station, the Bangham station, and the Cookeville station. 1 man on shift, and they would meet in the middle, if you will.
Any more questions, Commissioner Savage?
Yeah, that's still not what CTAS was recommended, so we may need to just talk, you and I need to talk. Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
All right, again, remember, we're on the amendment, which is to add 3 new full-time to the County General. Mr. Owaza? You're first. Do you want to speak to the amendment?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Savage asked my first question on the dollar amount that we're looking at. My second question would be, though, I guess, Mr. Holmes, would you suggest we go into fund balance for this, or, because I think we're pretty close on the budget.
I'm hoping that we have enough revenue coming in this year. We always have an increase in revenue, and I'm hoping that it'll fund this. But I feel like we funded the sheriff's department, we funded the ambulance service. We didn't do a thing for this man right here. And, I can tell you countless hours that these guys have worked for nothing. And I know that they do more than just fires do. And most of them are EMTs and paramedics that you got, don't you, Chief?
We have several EMTs and paramedics and first responders.
So I just feel like that we need to fund 3 for him.
The reason why I asked that question is, from what I understand, I wasn't on the budget committee this year, but I understood that the budget committee cut it so close that we actually had to dip into a little bit of fund balance for the county general, so I don't know if that's what you were thinking, if we're just hoping on revenue coming in, or how that was going to work.
I thought that if we don't fund it, we could take it out of fund balance. Am I not correct, Randy? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Wait, Mr. Medley?
Okay, if you fund this, you're looking at a tax increase. You take it off, this is personnel. This comes up every year, these people has to be paid. So you got to have income coming in specifically for this. So if you take it off fund balance this year, you got to have the fund balance next year. So anytime you add personnel, you've got to have the money to back it up with. So you're looking at about a penny increase. So if you're for a penny increase, vote for it.
Ms. Bowen?
I agree with Danny Holmes. I believe that the committee met the sheriff's department, they met the ambulance service halfway, and I feel like they should do something to help our fire department. I know it don't help my insurance, but it might help save a life.
Mr. Ebersole?
I've got to chime in on what Commissioner Medley says, that the thing is now we're pushing almost $2 million out of balance, expenses compared to revenue. My point being is you can't run a business this way. You can't have something on a hope that the revenue comes in on. I got to agree with Mike. If you're willing to raise taxes, you should raise taxes to accommodate this need. If it's that great of a need for this county, you should be willing to raise the taxes. That's all I have.
If I may, I want to make a point of I don't know whether it's a point of order, but in this budget, we have projected $33,000 worth of revenue and $35,000 worth of expenditures. So if we pass the budget, even except without Commissioner Holmes's motion, you're improving a $2 million increase. You're pushing it down the road, but you're accepting, and again, I'm not taking sides, I'm just stating facts. We've accepted 4 new jailers. We've accepted 4 new ambulance personnel, which are personnel as well. And yet we haven't offered a funding mechanism for those 7 people. So we got a budget we're fixing to vote on that has an increase. Whether you want to say the estimate revenues are low and expected to come in, that's exactly what Mr. Holmes is saying, that the additional 126 can be done the same way. So, not taking sides, I just want to make sure. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand that? You got $2 million excess over expenditures over revenues with this budget we're looking at. All right. Mr. Williams.
Okay, there's been several that have said, it's not fair that we didn't give Tom anything, but we funded, the sheriff and the EMS. Well, I was on the budget committee, and we did do a compromise the first time. We gave Tom 2, we gave EMS 2, and we gave the sheriff 2, and then we didn't fund the $50,000 drug fund for the sheriff. And that was a big deal. I mean, that was a big a compromise for everybody involved. But then, the very next budget meeting, one by one, everything got put back in. And, at the time, I was totally against it. I'm still against it because I made the point that how are we going to pay for it? Well, when there was, over half of the budget committee also works for the county, the city, or the state, they didn't really care about whether to pay for it or not. So I'm against it. I mean, if we're going to do anything, if you want to be fair about it, then let's go back to what we did before and give everybody a little and not the lion's share to 1 or 2 departments.
All right, let's remember we're on the amendment. The amendment is to add 3 new full-time firefighters. Your point's well taken, Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Short.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to withhold until we pass this amendment one way or the other.
Does anybody else want to speak? And Commissioner Iwasden, I see it, but according to Robert's rules, everybody gets a chance to speak once before somebody gets a second opportunity to speak to the same motion. Does anybody else on the commission who hasn't spoke wish to have discussion on the amendment? Mr. Iwasden.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. It is again on the motion. Just wanted to make a quick comment too as well that Of course, we all have concerns about public safety. I mean, that sometimes depends on what side of the issue you're on. It can be construed a certain way, but regardless of how this vote goes down by the commissioners, I think I could speak on behalf of all of us that we all have a concern for public safety. But if I'm not mistaken, all of us, or at least close to all of us, have also made pledges to our constituents in our districts and throughout the county that we'd also be fiscally responsible and watch out for those who pay the county taxes. That's just something to think about as well, regardless of how we vote on this motion. I kind of want to echo Mr. Ebersol and Mr. Medley and Mr. Williams' comments a moment ago, too. There's definitely a concern as far as the fiscally responsible side of this motion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're quite welcome. All right, Mr. Clerk, we're ready for a vote on the amendment. Remember, the vote is this. We're amended to the general fund. The general budget is to add 3 full-time firefighters. And that's what you're voting on, to amend the motion.
I'm still waiting on the figure to put down that it's going to cost.
$126,000, I believe is what Mr.
Is that what you, is that correct, Mr. Tom? Well, we're 100, where'd you go? 126, is that right, Randy? 126,000? Okay. All right, I was lacking that. We were still kind of gathering from here to yon. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you take your handsets, everybody understand that we're strictly voting on the amendment, okay, amendment, to add 3 new personnel to the Putnam County Fire Department at a cost of $126,000. If you favor that motion, vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no, and stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote? All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please press confirm for me. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 7 yes, 14 no, 3 absent. Motion fails. You're back to your original county general at 84.5 cents.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Yes, sir, and back to the original motion. Anyone discussion on the original motion? Mr. Short, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, as I look around the room, there's a lot of folks that I respect. Sometimes we disagree. I think the sheriff has done a heck of a job. I think Randy has been clearer than he's ever been before, than we've had in several years of leadership. You know, I think that Tom Brown, I've known him here in town longer than anybody else, just about. He's always been one of my, and I think that we also understand that safety and public welfare is one of the things that government should do. So it's not a matter of not funding this thing, but let's just take the expenses and look in the last 5 years. We have taken a budget that was approximately $27 million, and we have ballooned it to $35 million this year. We have done so, if we approve this budget, that is, we have done so with some really interesting numbers. First of all, let me explain maintenance of effort so everyone that's here tonight will understand that. What that means is that when we approve, if we approve, most payroll items, and that includes the firefighters, that includes the sheriff's folks, it includes several departments, then we're funding that forever. We can't turn around next year and say, no, you've got too much money, or we don't have the money to fund this. We have to go borrow the money and pay it. It's called maintenance of effort, and it's a very important concept to know in here. We have got in the county budget, as an example, the employees' portion of health care benefits. That line item has now ballooned to over $3 million, or will balloon to over $3 million if we approve this. It's gone up $600,000 this year alone. So when you look at all of those, and of course you can never go back. You know they're never going to reduce your prices. They're only going to make them higher. So when you look at that sort of thing, and then you look at the fact that we we already have $180 million worth of long-term debt, almost all of which has gone to pay for schools. We have another school down the road. We don't know where, but it's somewhere between $20 and $50 million. Somewhere between 3 and 5 years, hopefully, we can get them to hold on that long before we have to come up with those dollars. So essentially, what we're living on here is the fact that we've increased the revenue by being successful at bringing in business, by sales tax revenue, and by property being worth more. And we're living on that benefit. It's like you go home, you go get a raise from your boss, and you go home and you tell your wife, I got a raise, but hey, I've already spent it on a new car. It's really not any good if you go out and spend it, because you've got too many problems that are on the horizon that we have not addressed yet. So consequently, when I was on the Budget Committee, I made a motion that we would reduce those expenses by $1.2 million. Now, part of that did include the health care benefits for the employees themselves, and we approved that earlier, excuse me. But despite all that, we had a way of curbing our costs, and then we turned around, and as a Budget Committee essentially reversed course and added all that back in again. So now, as Mr. Medley has pointed out very clearly, we're stuck with trying to figure out, well, how long can we live on this bubble? How long can we hold on to the money that we're getting in? And then, of course, we're going to be looking at a school system that we're basically just going to keep it status quo, where everybody else is getting the payroll increases that they say they need. And so that's where the whole problem is coming down. And so my suggestion is that there are several areas where we need to cut. And we looked at the payrolls for several. Now, when the Budget Committee looked at the ambulance situation, it was one of, if we don't give them a raise, how can we make their life a little easier? And that was by going out and adding a whole nother crew, which then would have shortened the number of calls that each crew would have to make during their shift. And so we left that one. That was the only one that we really left alone. But as time has gone on, most of these things have been added back. So I would, guess to cut all this to the chase, we've got about $1 million or more that we've got to begin to cut out of this budget in order to then be able to look down the road and be able to fund some of the longer term and larger debt requests that we're going to have coming at us soon. Thank you.
Any motion to that, Mr. Short?
No.
No?
We're back there before that.
No?
I can replace what we talked about in the Budget Committee. By the way, the Budget Committee did do a great job, and Tony, you did a good job of managing, which was a tough situation with Darrell leaving and everything else. So, good job there.
All right, any other discussion? All right, folks, we're voting on the motion. The motion is to approve the general fund as presented. And Mr. Clerk will.
All right, correct me, Mr. Jones, if I'm not correct. There are some of us tonight who must abstain in certain ones that we don't do the signing anymore. So Mr. Williams' wife is a county employee, which would be in the county budget. I don't know, is anybody else?
I actually took a look at the statute in regards to a conversation that Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to give you a little more.
Mr. Medley and I had before the meeting. I pulled up the statute, and this is what it says. It says, no member of a legislative body of a county who's also an employee of the same county or whose spouse is an employee of the same county may vote on matters in which the member has a conflict of interest, and a conflict of interest is created under this section when a member is voting on a matter which, if approved by the legislative body, would increase the pay or benefits of that member or member's spouse.
Right.
But subsection B is an exception to that, and it says, Subsection A shall not prohibit a member of a local governing body or a county from voting on a budget, appropriation resolution, or tax rate resolution, or amendments thereto, unless the vote is on a specific amendment to the budget or a specific appropriation or resolution in which the member has a conflict of interest. So, for someone like Mr. Medley, who is an employee of the county, he can vote, as can Mr. Williams.
Mr.
You say
Robertson's
can?
I believe so.
also. So Mr. Williams can vote?
As long as it's on the budget and there's not anything specific to his situation where he would have a conflict of interest.
But since Mr. Medley and Mr. Robinson are county employees, then they would not be able to vote on the
They would still
road
be able,
budget.
they would still be, not on the road budget,
On the road
correct.
budget, right. They can still, all right, okay. So even though you have a spouse, you're not exempt from voting. Okay. Well, Bobby, you're in the loop, brother. Okay.
He's directly,
All right. Thank you.
the health benefits are direct benefits.
Do you need some more clarification?
I'm looking at subsection B of the statute. It says, shall not prohibit a member of a local governing body from voting on the budget, appropriation resolution, or tax rate resolution, or amendments thereto, unless the vote is on a specific amendment to the budget or specific appropriation or resolution in which the member has a conflict of interest. So if there's a specific amendment or resolution as far as this budget is concerned, he would be precluded. Short of that, if we're talking about just the general budget, I don't think so, what the statute's saying. Is that your interpretation, Ben?
I was thinking you can vote on it as a whole, but it says specific appropriation resolution, which we're doing an appropriation resolution, which is specific to the budget, but, I mean, you're the county attorney.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we did last
I'm just reading you
year.
what the statute says.
That's what we did last year. We precluded him from the county general, but we did not preclude him from the total rate itself at the end. But we precluded county general.
Some counties vote on the whole thing as a package, and that would allow them to vote.
Okay.
When you break it out, I believe, and he said specific appropriation resolution, so I believe they could vote on the tax levy. I believe they can vote on the three-column budget. I don't think they can vote on the appropriation resolution.
If we're
I know
talking,
it doesn't, well,
unless the vote is on a specific amendment to the budget or a specific appropriation or resolution, and if that's what we're discussing now, it'd be precluded.
So in your opinion, tell us who would not be able to vote under certain circumstances as we're going to have resolutions. And as you define the law, Mr. Medley would not be allowed to vote on road budget?
Correct.
Is that true?
Nor Mr. Robertson.
And I believe,
Or Mr. Robinson, and Mr. Williams?
so as I understand what Mr. Rogers was saying, that he probably would be precluded from voting on the general, but can vote on the entire budget as a whole.
Exactly.
Is that? Okay.
Yes, sir. That's the way we did it last year.
Again, let's use names. Who cannot vote on this resolution, the general fund?
Mr. Williams
Cannot.
cannot? This includes the road budget?
No.
No.
Okay.
Nor the school.
I don't know who else has spouses, and
I understand. To
Yeah.
that would be the only one that I'm aware of. Anybody else who works for the county under the general fund
No,
or
not
whose
the
spouse does. Schools,
Schools-
we do have
schools
some
is different.
schools and
Schools
roads.
is- schools is
So,
different.
in this case, Mr. Williams is the only one for this resolution who would be, conflict of interest. Am I understanding that correct? All right, Mr. Clark.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so, Bobby, you must abstain, so when it comes to,
Are we voting on the actual budget or the?
we're voting on, we're back to the original, county general at 84.5 cents.
one additional thing that this new statute mentions is that as a member has a conflict of interest, it changes the number needed for a majority. That's not counted, so.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah, this is just, again, the vote you're on is the county general budget, which is a tax rate of 84.5 cents. Everybody understand what the vote is? And Mr. Williams, you need to abstain.
Oh, yeah, that's all you need to do is when it comes to.
All right, Mr.
All right,
Clerk.
everybody got it? Here we go. Take your handsets. You favor the motion at county general 84.5 cents, vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone vote. And please stop right there. Hang on. Mr. Medley?
We're trying to talk it into,
Oh, okay.
ain't doing no good at it.
All right, there we go. All right. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, please press confirm. All right. Mr. Chairman, you have 16 voting yes, 4 no, 1 abstain, 3 absent. Motion carries. Hang on, Tony, let me gotta do some writing on here, brother.
Tell me when you're ready.
Great. Thank you, sir. All right, next.
All right, second item here, Budget Committee recommends approval of the solid waste budget as presented and set the tax rate at 18 cents for the solid waste fund, which is the same as last year. I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on solid waste? Well, Keith, how about that? Mr. Clark.
All right, seeing none, take your handsets. If you favor the motion for solid waste at 18 cents, please press yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. Hang on, Mr. Medley. You need another battery?
Push a vote, not a confirm.
Yeah, we'll get you a new battery just a minute. All votes are in, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone wish to change your vote anywhere, please press confirm for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, you have 20 voting yes, 1 voting no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Motion carries. Give me just a second. You want to change the battery in your handset? See if- Okay, all right. We'll try it another round and see. Let's see if it works.
All right,
Yeah,
budget,
we'll-
you, Wayne.
I am now. Go ahead, brother. Thanks.
Budget Committee recommends approval of debt service budget as presented and set the tax rate at 60.1 cents for the debt service fund, which is the same as last year. I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right. If you favor debt service at 60.5 cents, please press yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? All right, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Savage, there you go. Thank you, sir. You have 19 voting yes, 2 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. When the roll was called, that motion carries. Debt service. Give me just a second. Thanks for your patience, Tony. You're doing good. Good. Thank you, brother.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the Road Department budget and set the tax rate at 11 cents for the road fund, which is same as last year. I so move.
Motion and a second. Again, on those unable to vote.
That'd be Mr. Medley and Mr. Who seconded that motion? I'm sorry. Okay.
Jordan. We'll have 2 abstentions. Any discussion on the motion?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Mr. Medley and Ms. Robinson already know. We won't run that again. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change your vote anywhere? Please press confirm now for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, you have 19 voting yes, 0 no, 2 abstain, 3 absent. When the roll was called on the Road Department, the motion passes. All right, thank you, Tony.
Budget Committee recommends the approval of the budget for the Child Nutrition Fund, Central Cafeteria Budget Fund, 143, as presented. I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right.
All right. On the Child Nutrition Fund, if you're in favor of the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote? Please press confirm now for me, ladies and gentlemen, if you would. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Mr. Chairman, we have 21 voting yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Roll was called. Child Nutrition Fund, motion carries. All right. Thank you, Tony.
Budget Committee recommends approval of Extended School Program Budget Fund 146 as presented. I so move.
Motion and a second. Does this affect school employees, as far as abstentions?
It does not. This is the after
Okay.
deal, isn't it? Yeah.
Is that right, Mr. Jeff? This would not, just, the extended school program doesn't affect county school employees. Okay, Mr. Carter. Any discussion, excuse me, I'm sorry. Any discussion on the motion? All right, Mr. Carter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, extended school fund in favor of the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their, wait a minute. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 21 voting yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. When roll is called, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Tony. All right.
Budget Committee recommends the approval of the Drug Control Fund budget as presented. I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Short.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This particular fund, the sheriff has requested $50,000 for. It's currently got $196,000 already in it, and I believe that I'm going to make a motion that we withdraw that $50,000 from funding for this issue. And I so move.
I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. Discussion, and I assume, Sheriff, you'd like to address that.
We do not have that much, Mr. Short. It's more like 150-something thousand. The last time they came up here to the commission, and we talked about $50,000 to fund the operational expenses for everyday use. We were hoping that would be the last time we had to come up and do that. However, a short time after that, we met with Terry Hazard of CTASC regarding our drug fund. He made it very clear and strongly suggested, based on state audit, that everyday operational expenses needs to come separate other than what's coming out of our fund. That's based on negative experiences that have happened in the past from local drug task forces. So that's why we're here asking again. Also, let me remind you, Commissioner Short, that, we're in the process of building a firing range, and thank goodness as of yet, I've not been up here having to ask any money for building that range. And that's where a lot of that money's coming from, is out of that fund as well, so.
I understand. Sheriff, I'm just going off of the numbers that the county exec has provided us. It said you have $196,479 as your estimated fund balance as of June 30th.
Yeah, I wish we did. That's about 40,000 more than what we actually got.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not arguing about the number. I'm just telling you what it's used for.
Yeah,
But that's why we're asking for the additional 50,000 operational costs, because of CTASC advised us to do that from here on out. They don't like taking money that's based on seizures or funds from our drug seizures and from all the narcotic arrests that we make and things that we sell through those kind of cases, and trying to fund everyday expenses. They do not like that. So that's why we're up here, and that's why we're requesting that money.
I'd like to ask a question, if I can, to Mr. Porter. I understand the budget for the drug fund is for this year $175,000. So this is only $50,000 of that $175,000 to which he's making an amendment. So there is a budget, so up and down vote on this resolution wouldn't solve it. We've got an amendment to alleviate the $50,000. Does everybody understand that? You're still going to be approving $125,000 if the original motion passes and this passes. Is that clear? I want to make sure everybody understands what we're voting on now. I'm seeing some confused looks.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes, sir.
If I may add, the $125,000 that we're talking about is money that we've already accumulated from current work that we've done since we've been in the office. So I certainly hope you're not suggesting that we're penalizing the sheriff's office or the men and women who's out there every day working. And let me remind you, about 85% of the people in jail are in there because of narcotics, okay? So any way we can angle, whether it's from a burglary standpoint or whether it's from working drugs or whatever it is, that's why those people are in there. So the money you're talking about is things we've already accumulated. We're just simply getting approval to move that over. It's already in the drug fund. It's not new money, so
Absolutely.
just trying to be clear.
Yeah. All right, does everybody understand what we're voting on? Removing $50,000 of the 175. Mr. Short, were you done? All right, Mr. Williams?
I just have a question, because I'm confused, because when we looked at it in budget, it looked like there was 25,000 was expenses, and then the other 25 was like for the buy money for undercover operations.
It is, and that's part of everyday expenses when you start talking about narcotic operations.
Okay.
You can't go start pulling monies everywhere once the new year, new budget comes. That money has to be readily available.
Is that a new thing? I mean, I'm only asking because I know last year, I think you had said that you had virtually nothing in your drug fund, and you needed that $50,000 shot to kind of kickstart everything, and 25 of it being expenses and 25 of it being for buy money.
Well, you're baking it up in 25 and 25, and what I'm telling you is we might use $20,000 expenses, and the other 30 may be drug buy money. It depends on the cases we work. It depends on a lot of things. So, yes, we worked very hard for the last year, and that's why we've got this kind of balance. We're working vigorously on the narcotics here, and we're seizing stuff, and we're able to take monies. We're on federal task forces that when our deputies are able to work with those individuals and they have cases, we get a certain amount of that money that comes into the fund. So we've done well. We're hoping to do even better.
Any other discussion? Mr. Savage?
I'm just confused. I'm just trying to get clarification. I understand the $50,000, that's fine. But you're talking about the drug money. When it comes in, does it come in and go to the general fund and then moved over to drugs? Is that the way it works?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I was curious about.
You know, we have things such as, just so I'm clear, Commissioner Savage, drug seizures, okay, and other things related to drugs. It could be, anything that we're working drugs with the LISO program, the federal program. It could be a number of things, but that'll, it goes into the general and then gets transferred back.
Any other questions, discussion on the amendment? Amendment is to eliminate $50,000 from the drug fund. Mr. Clerk.
Everybody understand what we're strictly on the amendment now, just to take away the 50,000. If you favor the motion to deduct the 50,000, press yes. If you do not favor that motion, vote no. Everyone please vote, and stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change your vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. You have 3 voting yes, 17 no, 1 abstain, 3 absent. That amendment fails. Now you're back to your original drug control fund.
Any discussion on the original motion? Original motion is to accept Budget Committee's recommendation for the drug fund. Any discussion? When you're ready, Mr. Clerk, take your time.
All right, we're back to the original drug fund. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. You have 18 voting yes, 3 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the Industrial Economic Development Fund budget as presented and set the tax rate at 2 cents for the Economical Development Fund, which is the same as last year. I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right. Industrial Economic Development Fund, in favor of the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wants to change their vote anywhere, please press confirm for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Savage. Thank you. We have 21 voting yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Roll is called. Motion passes. All right. Thank you, Tony.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the Capital Projects Fund budget as presented and set the tax rate at 2 cents for the Capital Projects Funds, which is the same as last year. I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Ebersol.
Got a couple questions on the building improvements. What all is that encompass? It's $500,000 up over last year. I know we were doing roofs, building improvements.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, your mic was not.
I want to know what all encompasses that $2.5 million on the building improvements.
You've got several roofs, Northeast School being $1 million of that. You've got the juvenile detention roof, you've got, maintenance and codes roof, the old, county court clerk's building roof, doing some repairs and renovations at the jail. Let's see, expanding the parking lot at health and EMS. I mean, I keep going down through listing each one individually if you want me to.
Then motor vehicles, that, I know last year we did buses for the school. Is that, what are we doing? That's doubled this year.
Well, this year, we moved one of the new ambulances to the capital projects, pickup truck for maintenance and codes, and the assessor, the new extrication truck for rescue, new fire truck for Cumberland Cove, the final and the replacements of the garbage truck that we started last year, which that's $170,000 alone, and replacing the backhoe at solid waste.
Don't those usually go in their budgets?
Not if they're big expenses, no. Last year we did all the solid waste trucks and several of those out. Last year there was some of the pickup trucks and stuff that were in the budgets. This year we moved them to capital projects instead of being in the regular budget.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Mr. Savage.
That sort of goes to what Tom was talking about earlier. We're not doing I mean, we got codes vehicles, assessors vehicles. It's typically in the general fund budget because those are just $25,000, $28,000 items, and they were moved out by the budget committee. You sort of playing with it, and you push the numbers up and move some one-time expenses over there. And I know we did that last year with some stuff, but we've almost doubled it from last year. And that's kind of a fake tax increase in a sense, and you're trying to play the game. And I know some of the stuff that's in the building improvements is the same thing. I think some of that stuff should probably been put in general fund. And we looked at if we had to increase the taxes, we increased the taxes a penny or two. I don't think we did ourselves a service by doing it this way. Playing a game. I know we use excess sales tax money, but it's a deal of, because we heard it all year long. Sales tax was flat, flat, flat. And if it takes a drop, what are we going to do next year? So, now I know people say I gave the schools $500 million last year. When I came into office, actually in '08, '09, when the tax was frozen from a percentage to a flat amount, that was about 87% of the sales tax. Last year, before that $500,000 was given to them, they were at 67%. So they had a 20% drop, plus the fact that we'd given them $1 million over the course of when it was frozen in '08 and '09. They're still sitting at about 70% now, which is about 17% below what they were used to getting 10 years ago.
Any other questions or discussion? Voting on capital projects, Mr. Clerk.
All right, Mr. Tony, did you say it was capital project 2.5 cents?
2
Is that right?
cents.
2 cents.
2 cents. All right, I'm sorry, I'll make sure I get that right. Ladies and gentlemen, take your handsets on capital projects fund. Favor of the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. And then stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? All right, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Ford. Mr. Chairman, you have 16 voting yes, 5 no, 0 absent. 3 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries on capital projects. Hang on just a second. All right. Thank you, Mr. Tony.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the preservations of records and fund budget as presented, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Preservations of records. Mr. Spelman.
John Ross, I have some questions for you.
On preservations of records, Ms. Bowman?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I thought you said Park and Rec. Sorry, I didn't understand you.
All right.
I'll get you later.
He'd probably give you an answer. I'm
Yeah.
not sure that it would matter. All right. Any other questions or discussion? All right, Mr. Clark. Preservations of records.
Preservation of records. Take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. Now all votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 21 voting yes, 0 no, 3 absent, 0 abstain. When the roll is called, motion carries on preservation of funds and records. Thank you, Mr. Tony.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the Veterans Building Fund as presented. I so move.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on veterans? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right, if you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone press confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 21 voting yes, 0 no, 3 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries and the roll is called. Thank you, Mr. Tony.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the Parks and Recreational Fund budget as presented and set the tax rate at 4 cents for the Parks and Recreational Fund, which is the same as last year. I so move.
Motion and a second. This is probably you, Ms. Bowman. Is this where you were? All right.
John Ross. On the line item, let's see, 44120, what is all this lease? What buildings are you leasing? Because you don't get money from the community center, so what are you leasing?
We lease the Monterey Community Center as well as the Cookville Community Center.
I understand that, but you collect, they turn that in, the community center in Monterey and the Cookville is the only 2 community centers that turns in money.
Well, and that's because it's LBJNC that actually leases the community center in Monterey. as well as a branch of LBJNC that does the Cookville Center as well.
And the food supply, is that for the pool or for the LBJNC?
It's for the concession stands that we operate
At the
at our
pool?
pools and at several of our facilities.
Well, you know, I call Randy, I don't know how many times, over these lights at the sports complex. And I understand that you have it on your phone now where you can have them turned off. They burn late at night. Donnie and I both get calls. I pass through there and, you know, I think that's money being wasted by the taxpayers.
I can tell you that the system that we have installed at the sports complex is on a set schedule. We set it to go based off of the practice schedule. They go off at 9 o'clock every night, and they come on at whatever time that they're supposed to practice that.
I understand that, but when the gates are locked and it's pouring down the rain and there's no game there, I just can't do it. That's money's wasted and I can't support this. Thank you.
Any other questions? Parks and Rec, Mr. Clerk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you support, Parks and Rec, favor of the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are now in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm, please. Mr. Episode. Mr. Chairman, we have 20 voting yes, 1 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Motion on Parks and Rec. Vote was called. Passes.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the Community Development Agency Fund budget as presented. I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you a second. Thank you.
Hello.
All right.
Community
Somebody else want to
Development
vote.
Agency.
Take your handsets, ladies and gentlemen. If you favor the motion of community development, press yes. If not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are now in. All votes are now in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. 20 voting yes, 1 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. Motion passes. And roll is called.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the General Purchase School Fund budget and set the tax rate at 91 cents for the school fund, which is the same as last year. I so move.
Got a motion and a second. Abstentions for this, I assume, Ms. Bradford, would be abstaining? Will I be abstaining as a bus,
Yes, you
part-time bus driver?
Yes, you will.
All right. Anyone else from the schools that will?
Work from schools.
My wife works in the grade school.
All right. Mr. Holmes, myself, Ms. Bradford, anyone else will be abstaining? That diminishes the vote total to 18, did I do the math right, or 17? So, for a majority, that will be the consideration. All right. Any discussion on the schools? Now, when there's an abstention for, then it becomes, I'm sorry? Okay, I apologize. Thank you very kindly, appreciate that. All right, any other discussion? All right, school fund, Mr.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're voting on the school fund. You take your handsets. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there. You all know who you are, need to abstain. We'll stop right there. All votes are now, all votes are now in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please now press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Redwine. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, you have 18 voting yes, 0 no, 3 abstained, 3 absent. Motion on the schools passes. All right, thank you, Tony.
Budget Committee recommends the approval of the resolution proposing the tax rate in Putnam County, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2017 at $2.73, which is the same as last year. I so move.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the tax rate? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take your hand sets. In favor of the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote on the resolution, please. Stop right there. Mr. Savage. All votes are now in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now, please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 19 voting yes, 2 no, 0 abstained, 3 absent. Motion on the tax rate passes.
Budget Committee recommends the resolution rounding the property tax amounts to the nearest dollar, and I so move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on rounding? All right, Mr. Clerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, take your hand sets. If in favor of the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, the resolution rounding the tax. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are now in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody now press confirm, please. Chair, you have 20 voting yes, 1 no, 0 abstained, 3 absent. Motion carries.
Budget Committee recommends approval of the resolution for appropriations of various funds, departments, institutions, offices, agencies for Putnam County, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2017, ending June 30th, 2018. As a whole, I so move.
Any discussion? Mr. Savage.
So this includes nonprofits?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Got one more.
Any more discussion? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right. Favor of the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are now in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm, please. Mr. Eversole. Mr. Chairman, you have 18 voting yes, 3 no, 3 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I believe this is the last one, if I'm correct. Budget Committee recommends approval of the resolution making appropriations to nonprofit, charitable, civic organizations benefiting Putnam County for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2017, ending June the 30th, 2018. I so move.
Got a motion and a second on nonprofits. Any discussion? Mr. Savage.
Plateau Mental Health Volunteer Behavior. The county owns that property and leases it to them, correct? What's the rent on that? Okay, they pay $1 a year for the rent, and they also want $5,000. I wanna, amend the motion to take out section $5,000 from Putnam Plateau Mental Health, and I also want to, section 3, change from 84,170 to 74,170, which will lower Cookville Senior Citizen Center by $10,000, and I so move.
Give me
All
that.
right, I've got a motion,
Time
a
out.
second.
Give me that numbers again on the senior citizens, please, sir.
Section
10,000
3,
now.
section
Wait
3
a minute.
will become 74,170.
Section 3 would do what?
$74,170.
Okay.
And specifically, Cookville Senior Citizens will
Gotcha.
decrease 10,000.
Gotcha.
And eliminate section 5, it goes to 0.
You wanna make this a combination motion, you wanna vote it separately?
All at once, the way I made it.
I'm sorry?
I made it all as one, yes.
Okay, and a second? And we got a second. All right, any discussion? Mr. Medley?
Because I know at one time we got into that discussion that we actually had to give them money.
I don't think so, Mr. Medley. They ask for the money every year. We've been giving it to them for years, as far as I can remember.
We got into that discussion one time that they wouldn't take patients or something if we hadn't given some kind of funding, so I'm just wondering.
They used to provide a service at the hospital for the mental health patients. I think the sheriff transfers most of those now, don't you?
Yeah, about 500 plus troops a year.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
I don't think that there's any requirement that we fund them anymore. But that's for the moment. I don't know for sure.
Any other questions or discussion? Mr. Ford?
I didn't quite hear that about taking patients. Y'all not taking any patients down to Plateau anymore?
Yeah, we take them to Plateau, yeah. Commissioner Ford, we take them to Plateau if they're deemed, necessary to go down there. But most of the time, more often than not, we end up transporting them to Moskin Bend over in Chattanooga.
You say that we average taking down there a month to Plateau.
Well, we can do the math, but we took just slightly over 500 trips last year. So it,
Moskin Bend?
it was either to Moskin Bend, one of the peninsula down in Nashville, or we've had to go as far as Memphis. So
How many patients would you say we took Plateau then?
not very many, and if it was just for a temporary thing most of the time. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Any other discussion, questions about the amendment? Folks, we're voting on the amendment. Does everybody understand we're reducing Putnam County senior citizens, specifically the Cookville senior citizens, by $10,000, which now makes that appropriation $74,170. Also eliminating section 5, $5,000 to Plateau Mental Health. Everybody understand? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right, ladies and
Amendment
gentlemen.
only. We've called for the vote. I'm sorry, Mr.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you take your handsets, if you favor the amendment only, vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me,
Will you
please.
explain that, Wayne? Will you explain that again?
We're only voting on the amendment. That's
To take it away?
that's to reduce, correct. That is to reduce Plateau Mental Health by 5,000 and to take the 10,000 away from the Cookville senior citizens and increase that by 10,000. Is that correct? All right, and then eliminate section 5 to 0. Is that right? Okay. All right. All right, all votes are in. Hang on just a second. Everybody voted the way you thought you needed to vote? All minds ready? All right. Press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Please press confirm. Chairman, you have 15 voting yes, 6 voting no, 0 abstain, and 3 absent. That passes. Now you're back to your original resolution for nonprofits as amended.
All right, folks, your vote now is the original motion, which is appropriation for nonprofits. The amendment eliminated 10,000 from senior citizen and 5,000 from Section 5. So now, as amended, we're voting on nonprofits and appropriating the money as presented. Any discussion on that motion? Everybody understand the motion? All right, Mr. Clerk.
All right. Everybody got it? We're voting as now amended. If you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, press confirm, please. Mr. Chairman, we have 19 voting yes, 2 voting no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. That motion, as amended, carries for nonprofits.
That concludes your budget.
And let me say, Commissioner Honeycutt and your Budget Committee, thanks very much for your hard work. We know you spent a lot of time and effort in this. We appreciate that very kindly. And to all you commissioners for your attention in the budget process. So thanks very much. Item C, resolutions.
There are no resolutions, Mr. Chairman.
And elections of notaries.
Our notaries, Dennis John Alsop II, Sherry L. Bean, Lisa D. Caskey, Dawn R. Chaffin, Katrina Cockrell, Lorraine Davis, Nancy W. Fox, Barbara Gist, Frank Harrell, Julie Christine Hughes, Jennifer G. Maxwell, Amanda R. Peppers, Chris Smiley, and Michelle Whitaker.
Motion approved.
Got a motion, need a second. Motion and a second on the notaries. Mr. Clerk.
All right, these we have to vote, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, will you please take your handsets? If you favor the motion on notaries, please press yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Would you please press confirm for me, ladies and gentlemen? You've done great tonight. Thank you so much for your cooperation and your help. Super, super, super. Super, super. Get my buddy. All right, good job. 21 voting yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 3 absent. When the roll was called on notaries, it does pass. Thank you very much.
All right, other new business, to recognize the cash flow of General Purpose School Fund. It is should have been given to you. Any questions on it? No. Let me just, if I can, under announcements, remind us that Commissioner Shanks is still not doing well. He is in the hospital, and we need to remember him in his recovery and his family as well.
And he did send us a card.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So, and his daughter brought it by, and it says to what we fixed for Mr. Shanks. Appreciated that. Thank you so much. Your friendship and thoughtfulness means so much. Signed, Reggie. P.S. I hope to be back soon, and we hope he is too.
Yeah, let's remember Commissioner Shanks. I also want to thank the crowd tonight for being here. Appreciate so much your interest. Let me encourage you. It's important that you be a part of government, okay? We love to hear from the constituency. We like to hear what your interests are and what you want and don't want. We can't make decisions if we don't know sometimes. So thanks for being here. Any other questions, feel free to come forward and ask. And again, we appreciate your presence. Anything else, commissioners? We have a motion to adjourn, and we stand adjourned.